So what happens in Logan Paul's case? Like, all right, so he gives all the investors back their money. How much money is that, by the way? Do we know? Do we have a figure about how much he would have to repay?
It's super weird. Yeah. So like, all right, you can't just go after like you can't go off market cap, right? That's like kind of like silly, which is just the number of coins multiplied by the price, right? So at one point, the worth of CryptoZoo supposedly was $2 billion. All right, clearly that's not the case. At the same time, like, how do you judge it? Like, do you just refund people based on what they bought at? Because if you do, you're sort of not just repaying people based on like, all right, let's say each coin started at like 10 cents or something, which is not true, but like for the sake of argument. You can't just repay people at 10 cents because some people bought in at the height of the hype, which it might have been like $1 at that point. So they bought in at $1. So are you repaying them at that cost basis? Or are you repaying them like based on like what it originally was worth? It's very confusing. What I can tell you is that it's a lot of money. And the first 5 days, like the trading volume was $100 million, over $100 million. I don't think that's like the amount people lost in total. I think it's probably less. And especially since crypto has crashed, like you're sort of repaying people with the crypto, but the crypto is worth less now. So you have to buy it for like less money. So all this to say, I mean, he's probably going to do something where you have to sign up for the refund. That's like probably the route he's going to go if he does do refunds, which means that only a fraction of people will actually do that. So in that case, I'm thinking he's actually going to be on the hook for $1 to $5 million would be my guess, would be my honest guess.
So that's what I said on stream, because going through like the early days of CryptoZoo, I was going by like initial like trading, like what people were putting in on day one back when it was like still pretty high and ETH was not in the shitter. I kept coming around like that $5 to $6 million ballpark figure, where that's probably what he'd need to like fork over in order to make most people that lost it all kind of whole again. So it's a lot, but it's something that Logan at his size, with Prime being a fucking $1 billion drink company now, that he could absolutely afford.
That seems inconsequential to something like Logan Paul.
Oh, and it's a huge part for his like the good guy arc hasn't stopped. Like, hey, I'm such a good guy, I'm basically gonna fork over. There's just no way to look at handing over $5 million of personal assets as like not a good thing. I mean, I'll be clapping in the back if he actually does it. And I'm the guy who made the whole story. So, if he does that, I think it's a good move for himself, but just, it's like such a huge win for the victims that I just can't help but, applaud it if that's the route he goes. I think one weird thing about the CryptoZoo story though, that I encountered is that these guys are like hilariously cheap, which kind of casts doubt on the whole idea that he will refund, even though that's the right move here. I came across several instances where Eddie Ibanez and Crypto King are out of the picture, right? So you can't blame them anymore. And Logan and his team are dealing with like these the dev teams, and they just constantly are lowballing people, like, and trying to pay less for this disaster. Like, it's like a complete unmitigated disaster. It's a ticking time bomb on your reputation, and they keep lowballing dev teams, or like not paying them on time, or doing this or that. I mean, I heard I won't say who said this, but I heard a rumor that the latest dev team that eventually quit, like, were talking to Jeff, and they were like trying to ballpark, how much is it going to cost to finish CryptoZoo. This is before my story came out, and they're like, oh, it's like, something like, I don't know, $500,000 or $750,000 to finish CryptoZoo. And Jeff reportedly said something to the effect of like, oh, that's too transactional. I don't want to do that. That's too transactional.
What does that mean?
Jeff doesn't know.
The whole thing is transactional. Like, that's like the whole point of it is like you're hiring a dev team. That is literally a transaction. So instead,
they were doing it for the love of the sport.
Yeah.
It
so
just
instead,
sounds like
he's
he
like,
opened up a business textbook and used the first word he saw on a page.
Yeah.
The supply and demand doesn't make sense. I'm going to have to decline the service.
It's trickle-down economics, really, Logan. Trust.
I can't deal with the nepotism in the market anymore. I'm sorry, Magic Cut guys.
So I have a question. Do any of the customers have like actual legal recourse, or is it all hinged on just the reputation and Logan's
goodwill?
No, yeah. I mean, I think there is, legal recourse if Logan doesn't move forward with refunds, which again is like why I've been saying, like, I think this is the best outcome for everybody. Because anytime you get lawyers involved, like, they end up eating half the fees anyways. Like, I think, there are cases where lawyers are necessary, but in this case, it's so clear what happened. It's so clear, like, what the right move is here. But again, like, I just go back to, when given the chance to fix it before things were a real problem, it's not like Logan or at least I'll say Jeff, because Jeff was the one managing this. Jeff was not happy to hand over, like, a pretty reasonable amount of money to fix it at the time. So I don't know if they're going to be willing to hand over more money to fix it now, if that kind of makes sense. That's the one thing that, like, keeps me doubting that they're going to do the right thing here. Is I'm just like, historically, at least Jeff was very tight with money in terms of, like, finishing CryptoZoo. So to pay even more now, even though all of us know that, like, in Logan's brand worth, it would be a steal, like, to, like, pay $5 billion and walk out of this fine. But, like, I think they're still probably going to try some shenanigans to, like, make the deal a little cheaper. I don't know. We'll see.
Wait,
it sounds more like an issue of swallowing his pride more than taking a hit to his wallet.
100%.
100%, yeah.
But I'm also not very confident in the legal aspect. I mean, you see so many crypto scams that are just so blatantly scammy, like the FTX thing where, what was his name? Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever. He just basically gambled with other people's money. And it's still, like, up in the air if he's going to get away with it or not. All of those people are probably never going to see their money again. So I don't know if Logan is in any legal trouble.
Though. Yeah. Well, just let me clear that up for you. They're not seeing their money again. They'll see some probably pennies on the dollar, but the money just wasn't there. They, like, Alameda gambled it away. So there's just billions of dollars owed that does not exist.